Chapter: The Architect of Time. The crystalline towers glimmered under the twilight sky as Holmes and Watson ventured deeper into this otherworldly realm. The ethereal beings, whom Watson presumed to be the Eloi, watched them with wide, luminous eyes but made no move to approach. The stillness of the land was both calming and unnerving, as if the air itself waited with bated breath for something to happen. As they reached the edge of a sprawling meadow, dotted with alien flora, a figure emerged from the horizon. It was a man, his gait familiar yet incongruous in such a place. Behind him, a smaller, delicate silhouette appeared. The moment Watson spotted the man's unmistakable profile, he gasped. "Holmes!" Watson said, his voice brimming with astonishment. It's Wells! H.G. Wells!" Holmes raised an eyebrow but said nothing, his sharp eyes already analyzing the approaching figures. As they drew near, the smaller figure resolved into a young woman with unearthly beauty. Her flowing hair shimmered like spun sunlight, and in her hands she clutched a bouquet of unusual flowers, the same type Miss Harrow had shown them back in London. Wells broke into a smile when he recognized his visitors. "Holmes, Watson. By Jove, I never imagined you'd find your way here." Holmes tipped his hat, his voice calm but edged with curiosity. "Mr. Wells, it seems you've ventured far beyond the confines of your literary pursuits." Wells chuckled, his eyes twinkling with both relief and intrigue. "Indeed, and you, always the man of reason, have joined me in the realm of the impossible. I'm delighted, though I suspect you have many questions." "More than a few," Holmes replied. "But first, I presume this is Weena?" He gestured toward the young woman, who smiled shyly. "Yes," Wells said warmly. "She's an Eloi, though unlike her kin, she has a remarkable capacity for understanding and memory. She has been my guide and companion in this age." Watson stepped forward, his expression a mixture of fascination and concern. "But how did you come to remain here, Mr. Wells? And where is the time machine?" Wells gestured toward a distant plateau, where a faint metallic structure gleamed under the setting sun. "The time machine is there, secure and functional. I remained because I felt a responsibility to understand the world I'd glimpsed so briefly before. The Eloi, the Morlocks, they are fragments of a story that has yet to fully unfold." Holmes narrowed his eyes. "And yet, Mr. Wells, I suspect there is more to your tale than altruistic curiosity." Before Wells could respond, Weena stepped forward, offering the bouquet to Watson. Her voice was soft, melodic, and slightly halting. "Welcome, friends. Weena, happy to meet you." Watson took the flowers, bowing slightly. "Thank you, Miss Weena. It's an honor." Holmes, ever the pragmatist, interrupted. "Mr. Wells, if your machine is operational, I trust it will suffice to return us to our own time?" "Of course," Wells said, his expression serious now. "But I would urge you to see more of this world before you depart. There are wonders here, and dangers, that may offer insights beyond anything you've encountered in Victorian London." Holmes exchanged a glance with Watson, his sharp mind already weighing the possibilities. "Very well, we shall accompany you further, but I insist on understanding the full extent of what has transpired here." With that, the four of them set off toward the plateau, the promise of revelations, and perhaps peril, guiding their steps. The journey to understand this strange new world led Holmes, Watson, Wells, and Weena further into the surreal landscape. The crystalline spires gave way to rolling fields of peculiar vegetation, where flowers glowed faintly in the twilight and vines spiraled in patterns that defied logic. "Weena," Watson began gently, "might we meet more of your people, the Eloi?" Weena nodded eagerly, motioning for them to follow. She led them to a wide, open plaza where a group of Eloi gathered under the amber light of a setting sun. They were delicate creatures, their features soft and almost childlike, their translucent garments fluttering in the gentle breeze. Before either could probe further, a faint rumble echoed through the air. Weena tensed, her expression shifting from serene to fearful. She clutched Watson's arm tightly and whispered, "Morlocks." Wells glanced toward a distant rise where dark figures emerged from the shadows. The Morlocks, hulking, pale, and sinister, their eyes glinting like cold steel in the dim light. "Holmes," Watson said urgently, "those must be the Morlocks. Do you suppose they are hunting?" "It would appear so," Holmes replied calmly. "The Eloy's reaction suggests a predatory relationship. Though not one of mere sustenance, there may be a deeper dynamic at play." The Morlocks did not approach the group directly, but instead retreated into the cover of the undergrowth. But their presence lingered like a dark cloud, casting a palpable tension over the plaza. Wells stepped forward, his face etched with a mixture of anger and sorrow. The Eloy and Morlocks represent the ultimate division of society, an evolution born of excess and neglect. The Eloy, carefree and helpless, are the descendants of privilege, while the Morlocks, brutal and industrious, are the result of oppression. Holmes considered this gravely. A cautionary tale, then, a warning of what may come should humanity fail to address its own inequalities. Watson looked to Weena, who had begun to calm as the immediate threat passed. And yet, in Weena, I see something more. A spark of kindness, of hope. Perhaps all is not lost, even in this fractured world. The time traveler nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on the disappearing figures of the Morlocks. "There is much that we do not understand," he said softly. "But perhaps that is the point of this, our journey through time. To be reminded of the complexities of human nature, the darkness and the light that reside within us all." With that, he turned and began to walk away from the plaza, his footsteps echoing in the strange silence that had fallen over the time traveler's garden. Watson followed, his mind still racing with the events that had unfolded before their eyes. The stark contrast between the Eloy and the Morlocks, the brutality of the underground dwellers, the innocence of the surface dwellers, it was a dichotomy that he could not reconcile. As they made their way back to the familiar surroundings of the White House, the weight of what they had witnessed pressing down on them, the time traveler turned to Dr. Watson and spoke in a low voice. "We must not become like the Eloy, Watson, nor should we forget the plight of the Morlocks. Let this be a lesson for us, a reminder that the future is not set in stone, that the choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow." With these parting words, he disappeared into the swirling vortex of the time machine, leaving Dr. Watson standing alone in the garden, the chilling cries of the Morlocks echoing in his ears. As the time machine vanished, taking the time traveler back to his own era, Watson felt a profound sense of responsibility settle upon him. He knew that the time traveler's warning was not just for himself, but for all of humanity. The fate of future generations, he realized, rested in their ability to learn from the mistakes of the past and present. The chapter ends with Watson's resolve hardening, his determination to carry the message of the time traveler back to his own time, back to London.